I mean, it's really disappointing to hear this stuff about DJ Wingfield, but, hearing some of those names I threw out there, who do you think could slot in if, he was supposed to be that starting guard?
I don't even know. The offensive line is hard to predict too. I don't think it's going to be one of those guys who plays like tackle. You mentioned Elijah Page. I disagree with, like, a while back, that is, when we were talking about this.
Yeah.
Tackle, not going to happen, I don't think. It's hard to predict that. I'll look at the depth chart myself in a second here. This literally came out 12 minutes ago, though, from Pete Rakos on 3. So this happened right after we went live. Yeah, and as Chris points out, it's not over. It's not final. This doesn't mean he's not going to play. He's probably not going to play, though. Look, I'm pretty doom and gloom when it comes to USC football nowadays. Casey knows that. And I just don't see this splitting their way. It's as I mentioned again, how do you not have this figured out in July? And then, we're into late August. We're less than 2 weeks from first game. How, dude? How? Like, what was he doing? Whatever.
He was, and I mean, we can actually we have, a handful of minutes left. We could turn this into a bigger conversation.
Yeah.
I think he was supposed to be one of USC's best transfers. I mean, I don't know if that's a hot take. There's, a handful of guys, Strawn, Williams, Wingfield. I think John Ray Reed obviously is one of the biggest ones because he's a center, and you're filling in the Jonah Monheim role. Waymon Jordan on offense as well. On defense, you have Keyshawn Silver, DJ Harvey, Bishop Fitzgerald. All those names are huge because they're starting potentially. And then, special teams, you'll have a new punter and kicker. We talked about Chittenden earlier. But I think Wingfield, at least on the offensive side of the ball, was supposed to be one of the biggest impact newcomers. And I know it's hard to compare offensive line and like skill positions and even defense, but thinking about how bad USC's O-line was last year, especially in like that Michigan game, like it feels like this is a big dagger to the heart, knowing that the depth has been changed so much for the worse.
Yeah, look, the offensive line is the backbone of an offense. It's really hard to just fill guys in and out. And obviously that's, it's what you're doing with the transfer portal, but experience is a massive part of the offensive line. That's how a lot of these guys get better. It's why I think Elijah Page is going to have a phenomenal year. He's had a ton of experience on that line now with signal callers that he's familiar with. I think he's going to have a fantastic year. And Chris puts out a great point here. Diego Pavia getting another year for the same reason is very confusing. And I don't know how it was filed, how all these sort of things, how the lawsuits, how they got settled or whatever. But I don't understand how a guy like Wingfield can't get another year and Pavia can. Maybe it's a name thing. Maybe it's something else. I don't know, though. That's something that it's something we can't really figure out.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know if we'll ever know that.
Yeah, that is confusing. It feels like there's a lot of inconsistency. I mean, he is in the SEC. I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but you talked about
a little SEC bias in the courts.
Yeah, maybe the Supreme Court. One thing you brought up, though, that I think is very, very true, actually, is, the experience on the O-line. You look at USC's starting O-line or projected starting O-line. J-Henri Reed, very experienced at center, played there at Syracuse, protecting McCord last year. Like you mentioned, Elijah Page on the left side, who I think is going into year 3 now after a full year last year. He redshirted his first year, but, his third year in college. Alani Noah, he's a junior this year. Tobias Raymond also, redshirt sophomore. But you look at some of the backups. Alex Payne is a true freshman. Justin Tuanu is a redshirt freshman. Kalon Miller, redshirt freshman. The only 2 guys, at least, in the 2 deep depth chart that have experience are Micah Banuelos and Killian O'Connor. If you go back further, USC has some younger O-linemen as well in the depth chart. But, I mean, you're going to have to fill somebody in who doesn't really have a ton of experience probably. And not only that, like sized. I mean, Wingfield is a big guy. He was on a bad Purdue team, but he, was a very solid offensive lineman, 6'3", 310 pounds. I mean, that's a big guy. So, just losing that size is going to hurt.
Yeah, no, I agree. And agreeing with Trojan here, it is, I think, similar to the Carlos situation. I don't know it fully off the top of my head, though. So I'm not going to completely agree, but I think it is because I know obviously he did play JUCO. So I don't know. The JUCO is confusing to me because theoretically, right, Waymon Jordan gets 4 years at the Division I level, but that can't be. That like can't be right, I feel like.
I don't think he does, but
Is it?
he's a junior, right? Like I don't think he'll
Yeah,
get.
but isn't it like the JUCO ruling? Like you get like more. It's like it doesn't really count towards your eligibility. Isn't that how it works? Like that's how Pavia is playing, isn't it?
I mean, you would
Like
think
he
so,
was
but
playing,
then you see
Pavia was playing during COVID. I don't know, dude. It's confusing.
yeah, I mean that was because of the Diego Pavia stuff. But I think it gives you an extra year of eligibility, right? But I don't know. So I think Waymon Jordan could play 3 because you could do a junior year, you could do a senior year, then one more.
Maybe.
So, yeah, I mean, not that I don't think he will. I mean, he's a guy who realistically could get drafted. So, who knows? But yeah, very, very ambiguous to say the least. And I mean, the size aspect, and I mean, I'm sure Lincoln Riley has a plan, but it just feels like things have not gone well for USC when stuff has changed on the fly.